4 kids, no job, $650,000 in debt. What did the room feel like?
I felt so bad about myself, especially as a financial professional. I'm a CPA in the United States, and we should know better than to get into such a bad position. At that moment, I decided to stop being a victim and to start walking toward resolution of this.
What was the very first move you made when everything felt impossible?
I'd failed at business 5 times by then, and so I did feel like I was any good at business, and I had vowed to never do it again.
When did you start feeling like a strategist?
My failure at being an entrepreneur was because I did not reach out for mentors. I was trying to do it on my own with my husband, just the two of us who knew nothing.
What is the real relationship women have with money?
When I stopped spending and started saving, I had it in like 60 days, and it was incredible. And so after that, I just keep raising my zero. And that was what enabled me to really see the value of saving.
Big dreams don't come quietly. They demand risk, they demand fire, they demand crazy transformation. Welcome to The Corporate Life, hosted by Hina Siddiqui, CEO and founder of Corporate Influence Media and creator of the Let's Make You Famous 90-Day Celebrity Campaign and media strategist featured across 600 plus global outlets. Join us as we sit with million-dollar entrepreneurs, tech CEOs, and celebrities who share the scenes that shape them. Here, success isn't a headline. It's a human story. The turning points, reinventions, failures, breakthroughs, and bold decisions behind their rise. Because your life is a movie too, and you're the star of yours.
Before she was a CEO, before she was helping women tame their money fears, Nancy Bennett was staring at over $650,000 in debt. 4 kids, no job, and no backup plan. Divorce did not just shift her life, it erased the version she thought she knew. What happens when survival becomes your only option? When fear is louder than confidence? When the numbers don't add up, but you still have to? Nancy did not collapse, she rebuilt. From crisis to clarity, from debt to discipline, from overwhelm to ownership. Today, she runs 2 thriving businesses, empowering women to master their money and build aligned lives. But this episode is not about spreadsheets. It's about identity. It's about the moment you stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the strategist of your own story. This is Nancy Bennett, and this is her movie. Nancy, let's start at the scene nobody sees. 4 kids, no job, $650,000 in debt. What did the room feel like that night?
It was quite horrible at the time. I actually, at one point, crawled under my desk and just cried. I just couldn't believe this position I had landed myself in. I felt so bad about myself, especially as a financial professional. I'm a CPA in the United States, and we should know better than to get into such a bad position. But I had done that to myself, and I had to crawl out of under that desk at some point. And when I did, I decided, which is interesting because once you decide something, when you make a clear decision, I'm going to do this, that like opens doors for you. But at that moment, instead of blaming everybody else, I could have blamed my husband. I could have blamed my mother. I could have blamed the fact that I have 4 kids, or that there was a recession, or any number of things I could have blamed. But at that moment, I decided to stop being a victim and to start walking toward resolution of this. I'm going to take responsibility. It's my fault. Somehow, some way I ended up here, and I'm going to clean it up. And I think that was one of the most powerful moments of my life.
Yeah. It's interesting you said that. Blaming is something that we always have a tool in our toolbox that, okay, if something goes wrong, we have to blame this society, parents, economy, government, or even God a lot of times. So, and then when we blame, life actually gets even more complicated than it really is.
I agree with that completely. And that's what I had been taught to do, is blame outside forces, outside circumstances. But there's such power when we take control of our lives and go, you know what? I got this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a decision. I totally agree with that. So, what was the very first move you made when everything felt impossible?
A lot of things had fallen apart, and I was just kind of I was backed into a corner, and there was not much for me to do except take some steps out. And so I was forced to look at my financial situation. And I actually had gotten sued by someone.
Okay.
My husband by this time I was divorced and had 4 small children, no job, $100 a week in child support, and $650,000 in debt. And my husband had just backed up and said, "You know what? You want a divorce, so I'm not helping with anything." And so it all fell on my shoulders, and I was embarrassed, and so I had not told anybody. But I think one of the first things I did when I got sued, I called a friend of mine, and I was so embarrassed. I remember it clearly. It was horrifying to me to make that phone call and go, she was an attorney. She was well respected. She was a lot of things that I wasn't. And I had to call her and go, "Hey, I've got this problem. Can you help me?" And she did. She helped me tremendously, as a matter of fact, because this had to do with a mortgage, a second mortgage on my mother's house that I was responsible for. And there was a long story about it, but she kind of got me out of that. And just opening my mouth about it opened doors I couldn't have imagined. And I think so that was my first foray into I'm looking at this. What is it? Because I'm getting sued. I need to like start figuring out where I am and what I've got to do. And then I opened my mouth and I started to talk about it because we hide our financial problems.
Yeah. This is very true. We often, like, especially we women, we tie our financial situation to embarrassment and shame, and we are not very confident or comfortable asking for help. And I think this keeps us a little bit more in trouble a lot of times. What do you think?
I agree with that completely because, we're taught as women that we should be able to be all do all.
Yeah.
We should be superwoman and super mom and super businesswoman and super everything and handle all of it with grace and ease. And so we don't. We put up a facade, a mask, if you will, to show to the world that's not what's truly behind there. We're not showing our true self of how stressed we are and how unhappy we are and how difficult life can be. And we're not telling anybody.
Yeah. So when something of this sort happens to us, we often keep ourselves in a victim position for certain amount of time. I'm not saying that, of course, you took a decision and you came out of that victim story, but then there must be some journey of that victimhood that for certain amount of time you must have stayed there. Is that true, or what do you have to say on that?
I was in victim mode for decades. And actually having that sort of mindset made me so depressed. I was married and unhappy and depressed and really kind of under the covers a lot because I couldn't deal with life. I was just feeling so sorry for myself of where I was and felt stuck. And I didn't feel like I had any power to change anything because in my culture, you don't get a divorce. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had committed to that at that particular time in my life, and I didn't feel like I had skill to go back to work or knowledge or I'd failed at business 5 times by then, and so I didn't feel like I was any good at business, and I had vowed to never do it again. And so we put those things in our heads. We feel so bad about ourselves, or at least I did. I felt so bad about myself. I just felt like I could not come out of that. And it really took a radical shift in my own way of thinking to change that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of women are. I see this happening, and I used to call it a midlife crisis because all of this happened around my early 40s. And I thought that it was a midlife crisis type of a thing, but I realized that a lot of us go through this midlife awakening, if you will, especially women. Men, they get a bad rap with going to get the sports car and all of those things. But I'm talking about women, and we just wake up one day and go, this is not the life that I wanted. This is not what I expected. This is not what I want going forward. And I'm going to take my power and go where I do want to go.
And it's very brave of you that you took that courageous decision, having 4 kids, which is not an easy thing. If you are a single, like you're single, like you don't have kids, you are just a wife, you would you would be okay. I mean, you can just go ahead and build your own life as per your terms. But with kids, I don't know how difficult it must be.
Well, I had a lot of family support. My mother was really there for me, and I have such gratitude from her or for her for supporting me through all of that. I think we would have been homeless and starving, or I would not have been able to get out of the marriage if it weren't for her. So I'm a big shout out to my mom and actually to any families who support their loved ones. I think our culture has gone kind of away from that, and people are more independent and don't want to ask for help. And maybe even the parents don't want to give the help. But I am forever grateful for that help because I could not have done it by myself. I think
Yeah.
we all have this idea that we can be self-made, but the reality is
Nobody's self-made, I believe. We
all humans
definitely,
need other.
yeah, we can
Whatever we've
try.
accomplished in life, it is because somebody else helped us. We are
Yeah.
not standalone creatures.
Yeah, we need people's help. We need family support. We need friend support. We need people who can listen to us, at least in the times when we are going through that phase of difficulty and trouble. So yes, we definitely need people, and nobody is self-made. I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always congratulate my teams because I might be the one in the front, but I could not have done any of what I've done without my family and my teams.
Yeah. So when did you start feeling like a strategist?
Well, I guess that's been many years ago, and it just kind of happened because I tend to think way far forward. I I look at things from a perspective of 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. And so when you do that, it almost makes you into a strategist of how can I get where I want to go? And so you're backing up and you know this long-term goal and you're trying to take baby steps toward that. So you have to back up and figure out what those steps are and what the milestones are. And I think that's part of being a strategist. You're really looking at a more long-term vision and you're looking at where you are, where you want to go, how you can get there.
Yeah. Nancy, you didn't just fix money, you built 2 companies. Was that revenge, redemption, or reinvention?
It was accidental for sure. I did not want to be an entrepreneur again because I had failed so miserably. And the failure, I want to say clearly, my failure at being an entrepreneur was because I did not reach out for mentors. I was trying to do it on my own with my husband, just the two of us who knew nothing. And also because I was misaligned. I was not in alignment with the energy or of my life purpose. And until I got that alignment, I was unable to be successful. And I think that's a big deal because we have to go inside of ourselves and find out why are we here? What are we doing? What are we supposed to be doing? Um, what opportunities are coming to us that make sense with our life purpose before we try to start a business?
Yeah.
And I had done it backwards.
Yeah.
But so accidentally, I was stuck in this place with the $650,000 in debt with the 4 children. And I had lost my job. I got a job so I could get divorced. And of course, I hated it. Entrepreneurs cannot work for somebody else. But thankfully, this job the company was sold to a company in Colorado and they moved all of the accounting functions to Colorado. I was like,
Mhm.
well, I can't move to Colorado. I live in Florida. So they laid me off and I got some unemployment benefits for a while to tide me over while I was trying to start a business. Um, or, at least some real estate investing stuff with a friend of mine. But pretty soon that ran out and I was so desperate. I had no money for food, no money for gas in my car. I was so desperate. But this person from my church hooked me up with a man that had a small tax prep business and he wanted to retire. So we went under contract. He was going to sell it to me on owner financing. And I was so excited. I ran out and signed a 3-year lease on a new office space. And the day after I signed the lease, he backed out and gave the business to his daughter.
Okay.
And again, I was devastated, but determined to make it work. And so bit by bit, I started trying to figure out how to get clients for this new CPA firm. And we couldn't really, it was the recession. So we couldn't really, and we're in a small town. There's no clients to go get here, right? In a traditional way for CPA firms. And so we started marketing to people who have federal tax liens, and it was extremely successful.
Mhm.
And then we started online marketing, and that was extremely successful. And we've been building the online marketing part of it over the last 15 years, and it's been incredible. And so um, somehow, some way, we turned into a bigger CPA firm, and that's been great. But in the middle of all of it, my landlord said, "Hey, Nancy, I need your space." And I was like, "Oh no." So I go looking for another space to rent, and there was nothing in our little small town. And so I got with my real estate broker friend, and she showed me this office complex. And I was like, I can't buy that. It is horrible. It has rats. It's run down. There's no tenants. It's 11,000 square feet of nastiness." And she kept pushing me, and so I didn't have any place else to go. So I bought a complex, and today it's a thriving, gorgeous, beautiful property with a lot of tenants. And so we have that business. And then from all of this, we've started another business that's called Success Your Way, where we do online classes for newer entrepreneurs right this minute. We plan to do newbies and mid-level, and then more advanced entrepreneurs at some point. But right now it's just for the newbies getting started, like a course about mindset and a course about how to the how to of starting a business, because people just don't know
They
this.
just don't know exactly. And they don't want to hire help. I remember that when I was trying to establish my business, it was about 10 years ago, and I wanted to do it on like by myself, because we were taught that, okay, you have to figure it all out on your own, and nobody's coming to save you. And we just get that, that teaching so seriously that now I would like to do everything on my own. I would not like to take any help. If somebody else is doing it, it's not going to be perfect as I would do it. So all that crap was just coming up, and then I hired my first coach, and then I said that, okay, this year I want to do $100,000 business, because I'm just tired and sick and tired of going broke and struggling with things. I said, why is $100,000? You can do even more. And I said, okay. And that gave me the confidence. And from there, my life story changed, like my business journey. So you said it very correctly that we always need people and mentors and coaches to help us. And shortcuts is available. Like you don't have to do it the long way.
Especially with the internet these days, everybody looks online for answers of how to do something, but there's so much misinformation. And I think it's just so much easier and less expensive for anybody starting a business
Yes.
to really reach out and find somebody that can help you with whatever that thing is. If I try to figure out the marketing by myself, I'm going to fail, because there's so many things involved in that. So I have somebody that does that. And it's the same thing with the getting your business started and having a coach. Like, it's so valuable. They know so much more than you do, and they can help you along and get you growing so much faster.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you've got a ton of lost opportunity cost,
Yeah.
because if you had a coach that could make you move faster, right? You would have so much more income so much faster than if you're trying to do everything by yourself.
Exactly. By not hiring help, you are leaving a lot of money on the table.
Absolutely. And people go, "Oh, I can't afford that." And I can really understand that, because I've been there, but I really will tell you, if you're in business, you can't afford not to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Nancy, money is energy. Most people avoid it. Most women especially avoid it like it's a dangerous X. What is the real relationship women have with money?
So what I found out over the years is that our money relationship comes from the messages that were given as we're growing up. A lot of times from our parents. In my case, it was money does not grow on trees, which
Yeah,
I
that's
say
very
money
common.
does grow on trees. It's
Yes,
paper.
it does.
Oh, so absolutely it does. So I've had to really change my mindset, because my parents were very poor. And I carried that into adulthood, which is why I ended up with a bankruptcy and then the $650,000 in debt later, because I had no idea how to get money and hold on to it. My thing was, even if it came in, because it was always so scarce in my life, it went back out. I just spent it. And I see that with my clients over and over and over again. And even, my kids at one point, which now they're better, they have learned how to handle money better from watching me and from learning. But yeah, it's just always a big deal with the money that people live above their means. And I think this is a mistake. The best option in life with your money is to figure out how to make a lot of it, but always live below your means. Always.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to do to stay below that. And you want to make more money. I'm not saying cut your expenses. I'm more of make more money because it is energetic and you can attract that to you, but you have to attract that with your attitude, with your energy, with how you believe about money. And so if you've got a scarcity mindset, there's ways to change that. And I highly recommend it.
Yeah. You attract a lot of money with the alignment, right? It's not like you want it and then it will come to you. So you need to be aligned with that. And I guess nobody does it consciously. It's just that we have that our nervous system is not very safe with keeping money. So the moment I used to get money in the past, I would just blow it off, right? I was not very comfortable with it because I did not know how to hold it. So the moment it comes, it will just, spend on travel, on things that I did not even need. So most of the people, like a lot of people make this mistake that when they just get rid of the money as fast as they can on useless things sometimes.
Absolutely, they do. And the way that I solved that problem for myself, and I've taught other people this, and it's in our book called Tame Your Money Monster, is creating a new $0. And so I was at lunch with my friend one day and the same broker, real estate broker. And I was telling her, oh, I'm so stressed. I've got to make payroll and I don't have any money. And she flipped out. She was like, what? You don't have any money to make payroll? And I explained, well, I am reinvested in the business. And she's like, unacceptable. You need to start a new zero. Right now, your zero is zero. You need to have, how much money do you need to be comfortable with being able to make payroll and not have that stress? And so I went, well, I need 30,000 US dollars. And she said, okay, well, that's your new zero. You save up to that and don't go below. And so I was like, okay. So I decided it would take me, a few months, 12 months, I thought, to get this money together. And when I stopped spending and started saving, I had it in like 60 days. And it was incredible. And so after that, I just keep raising my zero. And that was what enabled me to really see the value of saving because it reduced my stress level by enormous proportion. It was just huge to release my stress. And I decided I never want to be stressed like that again. And so here we are. But that is the first thing that I did was raise my zero.
It gives you a lot of freedom when you have your, like, for example, you have the cash in your bank, which will keep you, keep you good for the next 6 months or so. You feel good about yourself, and you can take some risks as well. You can do whatever you want. That gives a lot of freedom, like money in the bank.
If you're a pet owner who wants real talk on training, behavior, and everyday life with animals, check out the Fresh Patch Podcast. Hosted by Drew and Gabe, we cover the wins, the challenges, and everything in between. So wherever you listen, search the Fresh Patch Podcast, where good pets get it.
It also gives you opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you can't take advantage of an opportunity that comes your way if you don't have cash. Cash is king. And so I always have cash to be able to take advantage of whatever opportunity comes my way that's in alignment with my life and my life purpose.
Yeah. This is wonderful. And Nancy, if a woman is drowning financially right now, what's the first thing that she must stop doing, in your opinion?
Hiding. Stop hiding. Start looking. Open it up. Look at it. What are your credit card balances? Talk to somebody about this. Find somebody that can help you make a plan to stop the madness of this. And make more money so you're not living above your means, and start cutting your expenses so you can have a bigger gap there and really put that towards your debt. But I would save up to a new zero first before I started paying debt. Pay the minimum, but you absolutely need a cushion, and even before you start paying your debt. And some debt's not bad. Like that $650,000 in debt for me was really bad debt because I didn't have assets to back that up. I have a lot more debt than that now, but it's good debt. I don't have any bad debt. It's all debt that makes me money. It's all debt that has cash flow associated with it. And so the cash flow, the incoming cash is more than the debt repayment. And so I just feel like we need to differentiate that because people don't always understand. One of the things I look at when I think about buying things is, will this make me money? Is it an appreciating asset or a depreciating asset? Like a vehicle is a depreciating asset. And I have one. I bought a new car last year. I don't normally do that, but I did it. And I did it consciously knowing that it's not going to be worth as much this year as it was last year when I bought it, right? But at least I know that and I can afford that and I know. But most people don't look at it that way. Oh, it's a $50,000 car. I can buy that. But you don't realize now when you drive it off the lot, it's a $40,000 car or a $30,000 car, depending on what kind it is.
Yeah. As an unconscious spending, I would say, like, they don't know. They would just like to maintain a certain lifestyle, and they would, and comparison is also there, right? If somebody has this car, then definitely I'm going to have this, or maybe this new iPhone coming in the market, and you just got to get it because your friend has it. So there's lots of comparison about it, and also people don't even think about it. Like, just get into that lifestyle illusion and keep losing money in the game.
I think a lot of times we attach our net worth to what we have.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
but nobody's looking at your things, and it doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things. Happiness and contentment and feeling good about yourself comes from within. And I think that's where we need to back up and start thinking about who you are and what you want. I really just had no idea who I was until I was in my mid to late 40s because I had to stop. I've been bombarded, just like all of us are, with marketing messages and messages from our families about what we could and should and would do, and all of these things that are external. And we never stop to go inside to find our true selves. And when we do that, and when we build our self-esteem by doing esteemable things, like getting ourselves out of debt or whatever, that makes us feel really good. And you can't have that confidence without those actions of things that you do that are very good for you and making of your future self.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great advice, Nancy. And today, like now I would like to play a game with you, this or that, which is my favorite game, by the way. And I play it with every guest now, like for some episodes. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Get ready for the ultimate challenge, this or that. Choose fast, trust your instincts, and let's go.
Okay, so bankruptcy fear or divorce fear?
Divorce.
Ex-husband or Excel sheet?
Excel sheet.
I love that. Budget spreadsheet or vision board?
Vision board.
Hustle energy or receiving energy?
Receiving energy.
Cash in hand or peace of mind?
Peace of mind.
Playing safe or betting on yourself?
Betting on myself.
Safe job or scary leap?
Scary leap.
$650,000 debt lesson or MBA degree?
$650,000 debt lesson.
Being liked or being respected?
Respected, for sure.
Amazing. Thank you for playing this game. It helps us understand you better as you pick one answer, and we can just get into your mind and personality a little bit more. So thank you for being spontaneous on this game.
That was fun.
It's fun. And I love to play this game with my friends also. And when we go on vacation, with my friends outside, and then I've just love to play this game. So now I thought that why not play it with my guest on the show?
It's very fun. Thank you.
Nancy, what's the vision that's pulling you forward?
So I'm 60 years old now, and I feel like it's my time to give back because I have received so much in my life. So many people have helped me. So many people have been there for me along my journey. And so, with all the things that I've learned in my own life and then in the CPA firm, which is just tremendous, all these things about money and energetics and how is a better way to live. I want to share that. And that's what gets me out of bed every morning. My husband is semi-retired and he's like, when are you retiring? And I'm like, never. Sorry. I love what I do. And I feel like it's so much fun every day to come to work and be able to do these things that are giving back, because that's what we do later in our lives.
Wonderful. Nancy, we believe that every life is a movie and you are the star of yours. So if your life is a movie, which it is, what's the title of your movie?
The title of my movie is Tame Your Money Monster.
That's a good one. And that is really telling.
Yeah, I definitely have done that in my life.
Yeah. So if for those who want to follow the rest of your movie, how can they do that?
You can find us on all the socials. So under Success Your Way, or if you're interested in the CPA firm, it's Fix It Accounting. And we're on Instagram and Facebook there with both of those. And then on info at Success Your Way or info at Fix It Accounting. And of course, those are websites too. SuccessYourWay.com, FixItAccounting.com. Lots of information there.
Great, thanks. If you would need to leave the world with one message of yours, what would that be?
Talking about money, I would say living below your means really goes a long way toward creating happiness in your life. So do that and pursue your dreams that way.
Thank you, Nancy, for being on the show. It was fun having you.
Thank you, Hina. It's so nice to be here. I really appreciate you.
This is The Corporate Life. More stories, more insight, more truth. Until the next episode, stay curious. Don't forget to subscribe.